Some Red Bull. We're going to listen to some news and see what's going on. All right, let's see who is in the chat. UK Miners Club, what's up, man? We have Sadie Sometimes, The Pirates, Condibits, Leo Lustig, what's up, man? Shay Mining. Let me pause this music just because I'm going to get tagged for that for sure. Let's see. Great Baldini, Taines, what's up, man? We have Dom G, Black Cat Crypto, good to see you. Leo Lustig, good to see you as well. Yeti, my man. Hello. Let's see. Cape Cod Crypto. What's up, buddy? All right. So XRP, as you guys know, has won the case. It's been the topic of the last like 2 days. So Coin Bureau put out a video where they actually talk about it a little bit. And then we have Crypto World put out some stuff, and Altcoin Daily talks about some altcoins. So I kind of just want to watch a few things. I haven't had time to catch up on stuff yesterday, so I really haven't watched any of these videos. So let's just get into these and see what's going on. But first, let's check out the market as always. So let's see. Bitcoin, 30,319. Not bad. Ethereum, 1,900 bucks. I mean, everything's pretty much still good. Where is XRP? 72 cents. Damn. That's holding pretty good. And it's like deep red, down 5.77%. And it's like still up 25 cents of where it used to be. At least 25 cents. LTC, let's see. Man, I hate Coin 360. The way you have to zoom in is so weird. All right, LTC is $94. We have Doge, 7 cents. Pretty good. I wish that would get back up to 10. That'd be nice because the L7 would be a little bit more profitable. All right, let's check out Crypto Bubbles. So on the week, everything looks pretty nice. Everything's up and green. On the day, everything is down a little bit. Anyways, most things. Comp is still up 9.1%. This is Compound. I don't know if anybody has that. But yeah, that's that. Everything else looks pretty normal. Solana 3.1%. Nothing really crazy. Nothing jumps out at me. So that's that. All right, so let's see what we have for Fear and Greed Index. Looking at 56. It says greed, but still neutral to be honest. We have top 10 coins by coin market cap. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, XRP, USD Coin, Lido Staked Ether, Cardano, Solana, and Dogecoin's in 10th. What the hell? Crazy. All right. Litecoin got knocked down to 13th. Look at that. Nuts. Polygon and Tron are above it. Interesting. Litecoin was top 10 once upon a time. Clearly not staying there. All right. Let's see. If you guys have any questions in the chat, please feel free to just at me. We're just going to be hanging out and doing whatever today. Yeti said, I released all the audits on the site. Nice, man. I guess if anybody's into that wood coin, be careful. That wallet has a virus or something. I don't know. Yeti dug into it. I didn't have a chance to this week, unfortunately. But anyways, go check that out. All right, let's see what Crypto World has to say. I want to know what's going on. So that Celsius guy got he got bagged, and he's going to be in jail for quite some time. Could be up to like 20 years or something if he gets like caught with all of the charges. So it's going to be kind of interesting. Let's see what they have to say. If you guys have any questions, feel free to at me. Let's do it.
Today, altcoins extend their gains after XRP is deemed not necessarily a security. Former Celsius CEO Alex Mashinsky pleads not guilty in federal court and faces a $40 million bond. Plus, EtherFi's CEO breaks down the protocol's new NFT collection backed by staked ETH. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Major cryptocurrencies extended gains this morning following a sharp rally fueled by yesterday's ruling that Ripple's XRP is a security in some cases, but not in others. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin traded above $31,200 and Ether hovered under $2,000.
So for anybody that doesn't know, this is put out in the afternoons, like, I don't know, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. my time, so I watch it the next morning, if anybody's new here.
XRP, which rocketed 32% to trade at 78 cents. Cryptocurrencies broadly are on pace for a winning week. Bitcoin is up nearly 3% for the week, and Ether is looking at a more than 6% gain. Altcoins in particular were in rally mode this week, led by XRP, with Polygon jumping 25% and Solana popping 32%.
So you know what's kind of interesting, actually, real quick, before we get too much further into that. So the whole Ripple thing, right? Them winning the case is obviously amazing. They can't really, if they can't put that Ripple's a security, then it's going to be hard for them to get every other altcoin to be labeled as a security, right? So that's kind of the plus in this whole thing. But I don't know if you guys know TCTC, Trillion Capital. He was in Panda's chat the other day, shortly after the Ripple won the lawsuit, and he was saying something about them owing a bunch of money, and it's going to bankrupt them, but I don't know if that's legit. So if anybody has any articles about that, please feel free to send them to me in a DM and I'll check it out.
Coinbase's stock even got in on the action, rallying as much as 40% just on Thursday. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. As Coinbase's stock swings in response to that ruling between the SEC and Ripple, the exchange's chief legal officer thinks its argument in its own legal battle with the agency is strengthening. In an interview with CNBC International, Coinbase's Paul Grewal said that the ruling that XRP is not necessarily a security on its face dealt a blow to the SEC's plan to regulate the industry.
Oh yeah,
for exchanges, for tokens that are listed on exchanges, for regular investors, there's no question that this ruling strikes a blow to the idea that somehow securities are being traded when people go onto exchanges and trade the assets. I thought we would win before this decision. We think this decision has only further strengthened the case. And the reason is this was not just a casual opinion offered as part of a much wider dispute. This was an opinion that focused on the key issue in our case and in many other cases, which is, are these tokens, when they are traded on exchanges, securities transactions within the meaning of U.S. law?
Coinbase and the SEC held their first hearing in court on Thursday over whether the exchange listed unregistered securities on its platform. Next, former Celsius CEO Alex Mashinsky pleaded not guilty to federal charges on Thursday. Mashinsky faces 7 criminal counts, including securities, commodities, and wire fraud. His bail was set at $40 million, and his travel has been restricted. In the indictment, federal prosecutors claimed Mashinsky misrepresented the safety of Celsius's yield-bearing products and the company's profitability. In a statement to CNBC on Thursday, Mashinsky's attorney said, quote, "Alex vehemently denies the allegations brought today. He looks forward to vigorously defending himself in court against these baseless claims."
What
he
a
also told me
loser.
yesterday about a separate legal action against Celsius. The exchange was ordered to pay $4.7 billion to regulators over a scheme to defraud investors, one of the largest fines in the FTC's history. Now, in a court filing on Thursday, Celsius emphasized that the agreement reached with regulators would not affect its restructuring plan with Fahrenheit, the consortium meant to take over the business. Settlement with the FTC will be paid after the company returns funds to customers.
Could you imagine having to pay $4.7 billion? That's crazy.
All right, on to our main story. This week, liquid staking protocol EtherFi dropped what it calls the first ever NFT collection backed by staked ETH. So Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke with the platform's CEO to find out how it works and what prompted the move at a time when total NFT market trading volume is down.
You're the CEO of EtherFi, a decentralized Ethereum liquid staking protocol launched about 5 months ago. Liquid staking allows people to stake directly on a proof of stake network like Ethereum and get a liquid staking token, which provides access to liquidity while the user stakes. Liquid staking is gaining traction, so I'm wondering, generally speaking, why do you think it's important and why do you think people are interested in it?
Yeah, liquid staking is a really essential part of the Ethereum ecosystem. So typically when a user stakes on Ethereum, they need a lot of capital to do it. Based on prices these days, it's about $50,000 to $60,000, and most, average people don't have that much Ethereum available to stake. And further, when you stake, you're locking up your capital. So in other words, you're not actually able to then use your Ether as collateral to borrow or really to do anything else with it. So what liquid staking does, it is a smart contract protocol. It allows you to deposit your ETH, stake it in a smaller amount than $60,000, and you can stake $10, $20, whatever you want, and then you get a receipt token that then allows you to use that token in other DeFi protocols as collateral to borrow against or do other types of activities.
So clearly,
Wait, what? I gotta rewind that. I gotta hear what that guy had to say. Hold on one second. I'm sorry, guys.
The Ethereum ecosystem. So typically when a user stakes on Ethereum, they need a lot of capital to do it. Based on prices these days, it's about $50,000 to $60,000, and most, average people don't have.
If you stake by yourself, for one, you can actually go to like what is that place? Shit, I forget. Whatever. You don't have to stake that much. You can actually pool in staking with Ethereum for less than 32, but I get what he's saying.
Have that much Ethereum available to stake. And further, when you stake, you're locking up your capital. So in other words, you're not actually able to then use your Ether as collateral to borrow or really to do anything else with it. So what liquid staking does, it is a smart contract protocol. It allows you to deposit your ETH, stake it in a smaller amount than $60,000, and you can stake $10, $20, whatever you want, and then you get a receipt token that then allows you to use that token in other DeFi protocols as collateral to borrow against or do other types of activities.
So more or less, we're going to give you this shitcoin, so you can so you give us your ETH. We're going to give you a shitcoin as collateral for you to lose that ETH, so we get to keep it. Is that kind of what this guy's saying? Because that's kind of what I caught, and that's why I rewound it, because that seems really that's really weird. I don't know if I like that.
Clearly, there is one very dominant liquid staking protocol out there. According to DeFi Llama, your protocol now has more than $34 million in total value locked, meaning the overall value of crypto assets deposited in the DeFi protocol. But your biggest competitor, Lido, has more than $14 billion. That accounts for about 25% of all staked ETH in existence. It's important to note that Lido has been around since 2020, while your protocol just launched in February. But I'm wondering, what is your plan to compete?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Lido, of course, is the dominant player. They're by far the largest staking player in the world out of both liquid and non-liquid staking options. There's certainly a huge first mover advantage. We actually haven't launched. We only launched our customer-facing staking option this week. So although we announced our existence a few months ago and allowed people to kind of pre-register their deposit, which is where the 34 or so million comes from. But the actual staking mechanism only launched this week, and we saw a tremendous amount of demand. The retail-facing portion of our protocol is called EtherFan, which is actually an NFT project, and happy to talk about that. It's kind of a quirky, fun, gamified way of staking.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute, but there's a number of liquid staking protocols.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. I'll ask you that question in a second. Don't get ahead of yourself, man. But he's way too happy. I just feel like I'm getting scammed immediately. I don't know what this is all about, but
so expanding on what I just asked you, why should people choose one over the other?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a number of things that differentiate EtherFi. EtherFi is the only staking protocol that I would describe as truly non-custodial. So in other words, we are the only protocol where the stakers get to control their own keys. And crypto, not your keys, not your coin. With pretty much every other option, you are effectively giving some level of control over the custody of your assets, whereas EtherFi doesn't require that. The second thing that I would say is very interesting about EtherFi is that we natively support something called restaking, which is a whole other universe that's opening up in the Ethereum ecosystem. And so, why should a customer care about that? Well, the reason they care about that is because they are likely to get higher reward rates, higher yields on EtherFi as a result, and there's less risk associated with it. There's never zero risk, but there's a lot less sort of risk surface area attributed to EtherFi than with other options.
So you just brought up risks. Do you think...
I'm so confused in this whole situation. If you're staking your Ethereum, you're not sending it somewhere to stake, or are you actually just kind of putting it aside in your own network? Like, how is this working? Because I know if you do like nodes, right? Say nodes with Flux or whatever, you can, put it on a mini PC. I don't have it with me, but whatever. Mini PC, one of those little like Dell Optiplexes or whatever, and it's like a node, right? Staking, I thought you had to send it into like an account where they hold it and it stakes it for you. Like they more or less keep this thing in like a kind of like a CD would for a bank, right? Like you deposit money and it's held in this CD for them to give you like higher interest, but it's locked up for X amount of time. That's pretty much what staking is, if I'm not mistaken. Now, listen to what he's saying. He's saying they don't have control of your assets. I don't understand that, because aren't you sending it into that other like area for it to be held by them, and they're giving you the collateral token that he was talking about earlier? I'm so lost. If anybody knows, please correct me. Correct me in the comments.
I think there are regulatory risks to all the liquid staking protocols. How are you thinking about the U.S. market now and into the future amid the increased enforcement action on the crypto industry by regulators here in America?
Yeah, great question. We don't allow U.S. customers for that reason. We think and we're not the only ones that have this opinion. There's complete lack of clarity in the U.S. with respect to crypto. I mean, the approach that certain three-letter agencies are taking are highly kind of punitive and.
All right, I'm just gonna kill this now. I'm sorry, guys. If anybody wanted to listen to this, the link's in the description below. But this guy, for one, it just seems scammy as hell, and two, he's like, we don't accept anybody from the U.S. Probably because they don't want to get bagged and sued and all this other shit because they sound pretty goddamn sketchy, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, let's get over to Mr. Coin Bureau. This is Coin Bureau clips. Ripple wins next for XRP and crypto market update. So this is one that I really wanted to watch because I actually do enjoy this guy named Guy over on Coin Bureau. Let's check him out. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Well, 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 what a crazy few hours it's been for crypto. You wait ages for some good news, and then a whole lot just comes along at once. So, without further ado, let's unpack what happened. So, as the US woke up to another day in crypto on Thursday, the first bit of good news started coming through. Alex Mashinsky, the founder and former CEO of Celsius, the crypto lending and borrowing platform that went down last year, leaving hundreds of thousands of customers facing financial ruin, was finally arrested. Now, Celsius filed for bankruptcy almost exactly a year ago, and since then, the company's creditors, many of whom had their life savings on the platform, have had to endure seeing Mashinsky at liberty while bankruptcy proceedings have dragged on. Yesterday, they finally got the satisfaction of seeing justice come for him.
Today, I'm announcing the unsealing of an indictment charging Celsius's founder and CEO, Alex Mashinsky.
So, Mashinsky is facing a whole host of charges related to Celsius and the fraud he perpetuated there. Enforcement agencies have lined up to throw the book at him. He and Celsius are facing charges from the SEC, the CFTC, the Justice Department, and the Federal Trade Commission. He's accused of misrepresenting Celsius's dire financial situation prior to its collapse, manipulating the value of the Cell token and subsequently dumping it on investors, and, of course, good old-fashioned wire fraud. According to the Wall Street Journal, Mashinsky faces a maximum of 20 years in the slammer if convicted on all
sleep your
counts.
ass against the wall, buddy.
And as you might expect from someone as arrogant and delusional as him, he strongly denies the charges. He's also been released on a $40 million bail bond secured against his Manhattan property because, well, that's just how the system works for rich crooks.
He sneaks in SBF on the left. That's great.
It's my address. Anyone wants to send me some money?
As for when he'll actually
What a
face
creep.
trial, it's kind of hard to say, but it likely won't be for some time. Sam Bankman-Fried isn't due in court until October, and while the mess Celsius was in pales in comparison to the absolute uber shambles of FTX, it's likely going to be a good few months at least before Mashinsky
Oh yeah, it'll be
faces
next
the beat.
year.
Nevertheless, his arrest represents a vital step towards justice and will be of some comfort to the many, many people whose lives have been ruined by him and Celsius. As to when those people will get their money back, that remains to be seen. So, that news certainly put a spring in the step of most people in crypto.
Real quick, I heard FTX is going to be reopening. WTF is that? Said the one who was. Yeah, so I heard some stuff about this too. And actually, if you look, hold on, let me minimize this quick. Where's the FTT token? It's usually like top of the damn charts. Randomly. Where is it? All right. Well, it's clearly not here now today anyways, but let's see. So they were talking about opening it back up, but with a new name, right? Let me see. Let's roll this up. So FTX token contract deployer has transferred out of the entirety of supposedly locked FTT tokens into circulation. Proceed with caution. So this has been going up and down. People have been buying it, selling it, but I think, yeah, the talks are they want to rename this brand and reopen because it wouldn't be as hard as, I guess, everybody thinks. I don't know. There was some bullshit about that, though. So just, I would stay clear. Just my opinion, but you guys do what you want.
Except Alex Mashinsky, of course. But bigger news was about to break. We'd barely had time to speculate whether Maszynski and SBF might end up sharing a cell and spending the next few decades staring blankly into each other's eyes before a massive development occurred in the Ripple case. Yes, that seemingly never-ending saga of Ripple versus the SEC over whether the former's sales of XRP constituted an unregistered securities offering.
So Black Cat Crypto is like, why do people love FTX so much? I really honestly think things like that, people will take some money, like say, people with decent amount of money that just have money to burn will throw some extra or throw some side dough into a token like that if they hear some news that something like that is going to reopen or an exchange or whatever it is, in hopes of the thing skyrocketing at some point. So, I mean, I don't know if it's so much like people love it. I think people just want to get some money out of it from people that have already lost a bunch. You know what I mean? Since it's so far down, that's just my opinion, but I'm not really positive in the whole thing. We'll hear some more shit about it. I'm sure.
Well, yesterday, the judge in the case, Annalisa Torres, ruled that Ripple's sales of XRP to the general public did not constitute a securities offering. However, this did not apply to those sales of XRP to institutional investors who, quote, would have understood that Ripple was pitching a speculative value proposition for XRP with potential profits to be derived from Ripple's entrepreneurial and managerial efforts. So,
holy hell. All right. So, yeah, riding the pump. That's what Mr. DJ Mine says. And yeah, they did the same thing with Luna, right? Luna crashed and then, yeah, the Luna token came back and they're just, everyone's buying it, selling it, whatever. It's more or less taking money from the other guy. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing. You're just playing a game. Fully Electric said, Chump Change, my family and I have over 260K in GUSD locked up in Gemini Earn. He said it's been over a year now and still no resolution and no one's talking about Gemini issues anymore. Damn, that's crazy. Magic Lucky said people speculate in Luna Classic too. That's what buying/selling FTT is like. Exactly. It's the same exact thing. It's for people that don't find crypto overall risky enough. Very true. Very true.
In short, XRP not a security when sold to the public, but it was when sold to institutions. Stuart Alderotti, Ripple's chief legal officer, took to Twitter saying, quote, a huge win today. As a matter of law, XRP is not a security. Also a matter of law, sales on exchanges are not securities. Sales by executives are not securities. Other XRP distributions to developers, to charities, to employees are not securities. Cue pandemonium. As you'll doubtless be aware, XRP began to pump like nobody's business, at one point spiking to almost 94 cents against USDT on Bittrex. This was the news that XRP holders and indeed much of the wider crypto community had been waiting years for. XRP may have been the big winner, but other altcoins saw massive spikes too, not least those which were named as securities by the SEC in its recent filings against Binance and Coinbase. Cardano's ADA, Solana's Sol, Polygon's Matic, Cosmos's Atom, Algorand's Algo, and others besides saw double-digit pumps, while the rest of the market was also in party mode. As I record this, BTC is over 31k and ETH just over 2k. Even Stellar, the Ripple rival built by Ripple co-founder Jed McCaleb, saw its XLM coin pump by over 50%.
Crazy.
And it's not hard to see why this is good news. If the SEC can't prove that XRP is a security, well, it likely doesn't have much chance when it comes to all the other crypto projects in its sights.
Douglas, yeah, so Ethereum has, they've been proposing to up the staking requirements from 32 to like 2,000 something. It's like 2,060 or something. It could be a little more, but I'm not sure. It's around there. But yeah, that's the maximum they're trying to change it to. I don't know if it's actually been implemented yet, but that's the plan.
As crypto analyst Adam Cochran put it on Twitter, quote, overall, a huge win. XRP is one of the more centralized foundations with a key figurehead who had standard sales via exchanges and formal distribution programs. If those aren't securities, nearly nothing sold via exchanges is. Take that, Gary. As you can imagine, there was something of a shortage of sympathy for Gary and the SEC on
That was
crypto
great.
Twitter, not least because the SEC's sour grapes were pretty apparent in a statement it put out in the wake of the ruling. Quote, "We are pleased that the court found that XRP tokens were offered and sold by Ripple as investment contracts in violation of the securities laws in certain circumstances." It's important to note that despite the good news, though, this does still represent, as Reuters put it, quote, "a partial win for the SEC." The selling of XRP to so-called sophisticated investors like hedge funds and other institutions, those certain circumstances mentioned by the SEC in its aforementioned statement, remain a securities offering. Whether Ripple and its executives are on the hook for these institutional sales remains to be seen. Reuters cited the judge as saying that will have to be decided by a jury. So, this saga ain't over yet, in other words. But that's quite enough party pooping. This is overwhelmingly good news. And as prices pumped, the party only got rowdier. Coinbase, itself battling the SEC, was quick to strap on the bear helmet and start chugging. Paul Grewal, the company's chief legal officer, tweeted, quote, "We've read Judge Torres's thoughtful decision. We've carefully reviewed our analysis. It's time
nice.
to relist." Booyah! It's impossible not to read that tweet and deduce that Paul
That's
wrote
awesome.
it with an almighty grin on his face.
Perfect.
As well he might. The SEC's case against Coinbase has been dealt a big old blow, and the company's stock has also been pumping, closing yesterday at $107, its highest level since February. Crypto.com also announced it too would be relisting XRP, while Gemini is, quote, exploring doing so too. Other
excellent.
crypto-focused companies like Miner, Marathon Digital, and Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy also saw their stocks pump on the news. In short, folks,
Kathy Wood must be pretty pissed. She sold a bunch of Coinbase stock the other day, actually.
crypto has a lot to celebrate today.
Over at Ark Invest.
Nijinsky facing the music, a big win for Ripple, and prices pumping. So, what now? Well, there's still the not-so-insignificant question of those spot Bitcoin ETF applications from the likes of BlackRock and others. Will the SEC, bruised and demoralized, lash out and turn them down? Or will it bow to the inevitable and admit that crypto is unstoppable, it's here to stay, and the sooner US authorities wake up to that fact, the better? Well, there are still many challenges facing the industry in the US and elsewhere, but after yesterday, they're suddenly looking a lot easier to overcome. And that's it for today's update, folks. Stay tuned, though, as we'll be covering a lot of what I just talked about in more detail in the coming days.
Nice. Shout out to Guy over at Coin Bureau. Amazing. Love it. All right. I don't know if you guys want to listen to this. This is top 5 altcoins for massive gains and one low cap moonshot. I kind of want to listen to this. I was listening to it yesterday while I was power washing some stuff around my house. So let's see what's going on here over at Altcoin Daily. If you guys want to skip this or it gets boring, please let me know and we'll go from there. Let's do it.
What do you think the best altcoin on the market is today? Does it have real users? Does it have a real community? Does the token have real network effect? And is the protocol actually generating money? I think you've learned more in terms of how we think as opposed to which specific tokens we're buying. That changes every day, but how we think doesn't change. I'll tell you one which I really love.
Though.
That's one of, to be honest, one of our biggest holdings. You know what I think the best altcoin in the market is today from a risk return perspective?
What verticals in the altcoin space interest you the most?
If I look at crypto,
Does anybody subscribe to this guy? I don't think I am, to be honest. But I just thought it was funny how the other day we watched the first half of this interview, right? That wasn't just all about altcoins. It's talking about Bitcoin and how he said he didn't like to talk about his price prediction of Bitcoin, but you see in the background here of his green screen thing that he's got behind him has 600K by 2025. It's like, I don't like to give price predictions because people just make fun of you.
the essence of crypto
Yeah, I'm not.
is
Oh, Gamer Kid, you hate him? Really? Okay. I've never watched him, to be honest, except for this. And he seems pretty educated on Bitcoin. I don't know how his videos are, though, personally.
transferring value from one place to another. That is what crypto is. If you break down crypto and you say, well, internet was the moving of data from one place to another, crypto is the transfer of money, not money, but value from one place to another over the internet, over data. And in that kind of market, you have to take a bet on 3 things. or four things. The first thing is you have to take a bet on the base layer, which is the blockchains, the Ethereums, the Bitcoins, the next Ethereum or Bitcoin, be it Solana. For me, I think it might be Solana, but it may be something completely different. You have to take a bet on the base protocol.
So he does kind of sound like a salesman, but at the same time, right? Thinking about it, I mean, he's just very educated. He knows what he's talking about, I guess, right? And to be honest, I think at the end of this, he talks about he became wealthy. Yeah, right here. So I became wealthy when, and it was he was actually wealthy before crypto. So I guess, you know what I mean? You kind of got to take, I don't know, give him some credit. He didn't just like kind of FOMO in and make a bunch of money on crypto, right? So
the next level is the infrastructure protocol, which is, you know, what allows us to interact with the wallets, etc. The third thing is exchanges. Now, why do I say exchanges? Because we know that regardless of which projects work and which projects don't work, everyone's going to try and trade the value in and out. When people think that the verticals are going to work, they're going to want to trade into the value. And when they think it's not going to work, they want to go trade out of the value. And so for me, the most important layer, the lowest risk layer, is to just invest in exchanges. What have we learned in all the crypto bull markets and bear markets? We've learned that the exchanges make money in the bull and the exchanges make money in the bear. And the exchanges last multiple cycles, whereas the projects last singular cycles, or most projects die in singular cycles. So for me, the best bet is to bet on exchanges, and specifically decentralized exchanges. Why? Because, you know, decentralized exchanges probably aren't going to get the wrath of the SEC and the regulators as much as the centralized exchanges, who all have skeletons in their closet from 2017 and 18 and 19 and whatever else. So the exchanges is the next level. And then the level above that, which I'm very bullish on, is what I call the casinos. Okay, now the casinos, I don't mean literal casinos. I mean an extension of an exchange which allows people to trade on leverage, which is,
actually,
you know, an exchange allows me to buy 1 ETH or 1 Bitcoin from you. But a leverage exchange allows me to gamble or speculate on the price of that asset without actually holding the underlying asset. Now, for me, in a market that is geared to move value, I want to talk to the innate human nature, which is humans are gamblers, humans are speculators, specifically if they're here. So that's like,
I'll be right back,
right
guys.
now where I'm focusing a lot of my bets is the base layer, which is, you know, Ethereum, the layer 2s, what I think is going to be the next Ethereum. And then the next level is the exchanges, and the next one is the gambling. Now, let me throw something at you, which I've said before, and it's not very exciting for crypto users because they're watching your channel. It's called Altcoin Daily. They're watching your channel because they want to invest in altcoins. You know what I think the best altcoin in the market is today from a risk-return perspective? What do you think the best altcoin on the market is today?
The highest potential reward with the least potential risk, Ethereum?
I think Coinbase. Tell you why I think Coinbase. All the other exchanges in the you think about crypto as a transfer of money or a transfer of value from people, from one place to another. We need a place to exchange it. All the American exchanges that I know have got huge skeletons in their closet, and we're seeing the SEC coming after them. Binance, they closed down Bittrex, they went or going for crack. I don't know. I mean, you can see what's going on. The one exchange that has money to fight the SEC has $5 billion on their balance sheet. And we can probably assume that it operated the most legally is Coinbase. And now the reason why I say it's such a good altcoin is because regardless of which tokens are deemed to be securities, which ones survive, which ones fail, it doesn't matter. The exchange is going to always operate and be able to trade the tokens. So, like, I don't know what's going to happen with crypto regulation. I don't know if Cardano and Solana are eventually going to actually be declared securities. Coinbase has the highest chance of succeeding. And at the same time, BlackRock and all the ETFs all listed Coinbase as their partner.
Real quick, is this when he said, yeah, the best altcoin, and he said Coinbase? I was listening to this, like I said, when I was pressure washing yesterday, and I was like, what? Like, did he just say an exchange when he was talking about the best altcoin? But I mean, I guess he kind of tries to sum it up. But do you guys understand what he's saying in this regard? I guess I just missed the whole thing again, but
okay, so
let me know.
Sounds to me like that's quite a good bet if you want to take a leverage bet on crypto. Now, I know it's not exciting for people who log into Altcoin Daily, but I'm saying, like, if we put on our big boy pants and we say, like, let's talk like adults, not like people who are trading 1000x Pepe or whatever, then that's for me is probably a great investment, to like a great risk return investment.
Appreciate that. You give such thoughtful answers. And
So he's making a good point about Coinbase actually being like a good bet on crypto when it comes to, you know, putting bets on crypto. I mean, he has a valid point with, you know, BlackRock, Fidelity, all them labeling Coinbase as a partner in their ETF, which makes it, I guess, an easier way to, I don't know, leverage a bet against Coinbase. Like, I'm assuming he's talking about shares and stuff, right? When it comes to that, like stocks, more or less. Not as much as not so much an altcoin, I guess, right? But it is kind of crypto space related. I don't know. It was kind of a stupid thing, to be honest. I don't even know why he said that, but whatever. It was kind of, yeah, whatever. Is what it is. Let me know what you guys think.
I'm not trying just like get very narrow with you. If you were to, you know, give us your top 5 high to mid caps. Now, judging by what you just said here, I would think you'd say things like Ethereum, Solana, maybe Uniswap. I don't know if you're more interested in the equity or the coin, and maybe like things like Injective or GMX. But give us your top 5 altcoins, Ran.
Let me show you. I want to actually, if you don't mind, I want to try and actually show you something. I wonder if okay, here we go. So as you say, I'm quite analytical. So whenever I make an investment, I have a spreadsheet. That's the spreadsheet that I use. I ask 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions and a bonus question. First thing is, does the token have real network effect? Does it have a real network effect? Does it have a real...
It's kind of a neat little spreadsheet, actually. That is kind of a neat spreadsheet. Can you guys see that really well? First one's Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, BNB, more or less by market cap, right? Or close enough. Anyways, by market cap, how he's got it. Oh, no, it is by market cap. Yeah, that's all right here. All right, so, and then he goes through these. Network effect, real community, real users, decentralized, survive regulators, making money, new concept. And there's 200 coins on this list. Damn. I mean, that's doing some work, to be honest. That's kind of neat, but there's only like 3 things checked off. 4 things checked off. Or 5. Sorry, 5. 5 coins checked off. Why hasn't he done the rest? That's weird. Anyways.
Real community. When I say a real community, does it have a real community, or does it have a bunch of crypto Twitter shillers and YouTube shillers that are paid for 6 months to shill it? Does it have real users using the protocol for what the protocol is designed to actually do? Okay, so like not people on Solana actually trading Solana between one another. That's not why the protocol was designed. The protocol was designed to have use cases, like in this case, NFTs, for example, right?
Real quick, Fully Electric said, is he talking about Coinbase CB ETH? Is that what you're talking about, Coinbase ETH? I don't know. Is that what he was talking about when he was talking about the altcoin thing? Because did he say that? I didn't hear that. I mean, obviously I wasn't here right then, but I had to run upstairs quick. But that's kind of weird, I guess. But that would make a lot more sense. Yep, look it up for 2K. Interesting. Yeah, I'll check it out after. That's crazy.
Is the project really decentralized, or does it have a plan to become decentralized? Okay, like a real plan. Because if it's centralized, the SEC is going to take it down at some point.
Oh, Max with the with dropping the knowledge. Look what he just said in the chat, guys. He said, interestingly enough, with all the FUD on Flux in the community lately, Flux checks off the same number of boxes as Bitcoin in his chart. That's really interesting, actually, if you look at it. Again, Bitcoin, network effect, yes. Real community, yes. Real users, yes. Decentralized, yes. Survive regulators. Do you think it will survive regulators, Max? This one? And then making money, obviously. But, or would you say it was a new concept? Which box? Like, would you say this one or this one, Max? Would it be the same exact boxes? You said the same number of boxes, so I'm assuming you're saying new concept instead of survive regulators, unless you're counting that because they haven't got hit with anything yet. But I'd still be a little concerned they might eventually hear some flack. But I mean, with the XRP news, it's actually kind of a good thing. It will survive the regulators. You think so? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, well, again, now that XRP won the court case, it makes it seem more likely that it'll probably survive them. But at the same time, like it did make me nervous, the whole staking thing, when that was like an issue becoming a security. that made me super nervous for Flux, to be honest. But again, now it's I don't know. It's just up in the air. I guess we'll have to see.
If it's decentralized, it's got a chance of survival.
It's a good point, though, Max, for sure.
Will it survive a regulatory attack in the next 2 to 3 years? And is the protocol actually generating money? Like, is it Ethereum generates fees, Bitcoin generates fees, GMX generates fees, Uniswap generates fees. Is it making money? Now,
Max said no ICO or investors. That's for Flux, right? He said it will survive, and that's true. Very true. I totally forgot about that. That was a big pointer they made. So yeah.
Sometimes the answer to all of these is no, but it's a completely new concept. In other words, hell, there's a new concept, completely new. It hasn't yet got network effect, doesn't have community, doesn't have real users.
Ethereum, on the other hand, not so sure.
In which case, that one you can say, okay,
But
I'm making an exception and I'm taking a gamble on a new concept. That's how I evaluate all projects. Now, to say which ones are my favorite, quite difficult to say. So I'll give you a few ideas. I look at the usage stats on blockchains, and I look at Solana, and I see Solana has very high usage stats. It's been hit very, very, very hard from FUD. It's got a big overhang of, say, $1 billion worth of tokens that are owned by the FTX liquidator. And so the market has been very, very, very scared of Solana. And so for me, I'm looking at the fundamentals and I'm looking at the price, and the two don't mix in the short term. Now, I know there's going to be problems in the short term, but long term, I think those problems are going to go away. And so for me, like, okay, I've taken a bet on Bitcoin. I've taken a bet on ETH. I've taken a bet on Solana becoming the next.
All right, real quick. I just have to address this. So staking in nodes. When you stake something, you're expecting a return. When you put the money into a node, you're also expecting a return. So how is that not similar? So I know what Taines is saying. He said Flux is not a security. They completely fail the Howey test. And you don't stake Flux. You use it as collateral for nodes. It's kind of the same thing, is it not? Am I wrong? And what about Titan nodes? Exactly, Dumpster Fire. That's what I'm thinking. It's theoretically the same difference, right? More or less. You're still expecting a return by putting your funds in a locked thing, right? I mean, but you can get them back at any point. I understand that, but you're still expecting a return to some extent, right? The Flux never leaves your wallet. Yeah, but it doesn't. Well, it gets locked in with Titan nodes, so that argument fails. Just to be honest, like when you're locked into a Titan node for 6 months, a year, whatever it is, it's locked up expecting a return. So, I mean, I'm just being honest. That's the truth. It's similar to staking. So, like, if I had to guess, if I was a regulator coming at coins like this with nodes, securities, nodes, staking, I would label them kind of in the same bunch, right? Like, wouldn't you think it was the same thing? Kind of, in a sense. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's similar, I guess. Similar enough to be kind of gauged in the same area. That would be my concern anyways.
The next thing. I've taken a bet on GMX because I think people love casinos. I've taken a bet on GNS, which is a competitor, because again, people love casinos. I'm looking for a bet on an NFT exchange. Now, I want to get into Blur. The problem is that Blur seems a bit expensive at $1 billion valuation. That said, if there is an opportunity to get into
let's see, getting paid for a service, not depositing into an account to get a return, but it's still the same difference. It's not about depositing money into a certain place. It's about expecting a return. That's what it's about. If you're getting a return, it's similar, right? Because that's the whole thing the SEC is making the staking thing an issue with. It's expecting a return when you're putting this stuff into something. So like Titan nodes, I mean, yeah, a home node would be it would be kind of a different category, but like a Titan node, say, that locks up for X amount of time for X amount of money. Like, you know it going in. So that would be where I would see it being kind of a gray area if they ever looked into it. But again, DJ just said it perfectly. He said, I don't think the SEC even knows who Flux is. It's too small. And that I totally agree. That's 1,000%. But if it was big enough to have them ever bat an eye at it, I would be concerned for Titan nodes, not so much like regular nodes. But I mean, who knows? Who knows?
into it slightly cheaper, you got to keep. You don't have to enter everything today. You can have a wish list or a watch list.
So Lazarus, I'm sorry, I keep pausing this. Lazarus said, is mining expecting a return? So mining, you're completing complicated like math problems, right? Like more or less you're doing work for a payment. It's not the same as putting a payment into something that will gain you interest. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit different. You're actually doing work for that incentivized money, right? That's kind of how that goes, at least in my opinion. Let's see. Let me just see if there's anything else. But return has to come from a centralized entity, right? Honestly, Crypto 440, I would assume. So yeah, they probably, like I said, it's Flux nodes they're obviously different than staking, but that would still make me the same kind of concern when it comes down to if they ever, thought about Flux. Let's see. I'll be talking about governized organizations. So take that common sense and throw it out the window, said Ricky Bobby. Yeah, I mean, that's true too. It's true too. Agreed. Mining is a service, just like a Flux node is providing a service to the network. Same thing. Maybe. I mean, again, who knows? Who knows what regulators would actually classify it as, right? I mean, that's just my concern, to be honest.
So that's how I'm like, I can carry on going down, but that's how I analyze tokens. I'll give another narrative is
you give me two more altcoins you like.
Stargate. Stargate is a cross-chain, multi-chain DEX, and it uses a protocol called Layer 0. And it's very technical, but most cross-chain protocols use bridges. Bridges can be hacked. Layer 0 doesn't use bridges, and Stargate is the ultimate DEX on Layer 0. So to me, that's another one which I'm buying or adding. Let me just quickly going to look at the banter bubbles, and I'll tell you if any other ones tickle my fancy today.
Yes, please.
I mean, we have been buying Injective Protocol because we believe in Cosmos and because we believe in that ecosystem.
Injective.
I do think that the prices run quite a bit, so that's one that we haven't used. I mean, I'll show you. I don't know if you'll allow me to do a little bit of a shill here, but
please, I'm begging you to shill here, Ryan.
No, so this is what we call the banter bubble. So I'm looking at our banter bubbles. It's a bunch of bubbles. I wake up every morning and I look to see which bubbles are working.
Banter bubbles. So they just ripped off crypto bubbles. Is that, and they put the banter? Is just have an overlay that says banter here? Is that what's happening?
Are pumping and which ones aren't, and then when we double click, you can kind of see, you can have a chat, and inside the chat, you can see why the bubble is pumping or dumping. So yeah, I'm just quickly looking through here to see if there's any. Oh, I'll tell you one which I really, really love is Arweave. So Arweave is a file storage protocol where you pay once and the blockchain stores your data forever. So unlike like normal file storage protocols and traditional centralized file storage protocols, you pay per meg per month, per gig per month, whatever it is. Arweave, you pay once and it's stored forever. And it's a very smart design. I'm not going to go into the design here because it's quite technical. But if you think about the use cases for storing data forever in a way that can never, ever be removed from the blockchain, it's a very, very, very smart file storage protocol. So that's one of, to be honest, one of our biggest holdings. Yeah, but I think that's pretty much our thesis. I think you've learned more in terms of how we think as opposed to which specific tokens we're buying. That changes every day, but how we think doesn't change. We evaluate on 6 axes, and that's how we make our investment decisions.
Appreciate that. I know you have to get going, have to play with your kids or do some business or something. So in the final stretch, feel free to say as little as you like. First of all, is there just one low cap, scammy moonshot you like, or no?
So scared to say. I'm so scared to say these things. I'm so scared to say this, because I'm just so scared people will ape. All right, if you wanna know what I'm not telling you to do this. Just full disclaimer. I'm really not telling anybody to do what I did. So we're all gonna go buy whatever he
says right now.
But I'm gonna show you
what is it?
What I did. I don't know if I should do this. Okay, I'll do it anyway. I did take Rollbit. Why did I take Rollbit? Because it's all the narratives that I like rolled up into one. It's casinos. It's a speculation, it's NFTs, it's derivatives.
Wait, what the hell? What is RLB, is that what he's... Hold on, I gotta see what it is. I don't even know. RLB. Roll Bitcoin? What the fuck is that? 8 cents? What is this? Does anybody know? Does anybody know? Where, hold on, where can you trade it? Markets? Let's see. Uniswap. Raid M. What the hell is going on? Interesting. It's a new coin. Have you guys heard of this? Rollbit? It's on 123. 123 on CoinMarketCap or by CoinMarketCap. Let's see. How long ago did it come out? Max. Let's see. All right, yeah. So this year came out this year. Jesus, holy shit! So it started at 1/10 of a penny, and now it's up to 8 cents, almost 9 cents. Huh? Never heard of it.
All in one. Now, look, I'm not telling anyone to do it, and as you can see, the price has moved up a lot. So I'm not telling anyone to follow my stupidity and do it. But you're asking me for a flyer. You're asking me for like a crazy flyer, high risk, could go down again. I took a little nibble today, so. I feel bad punting these things, but that's what I did.
I asked you, appreciate that, guys. And let me just say, guys, you know, I follow Ran. I do think Crypto Banter is his YouTube channel, some of the best perspective in the space. He's linked below. Give him a follow and tell him Altcoin Daily sent you when you comment on his channel. And my final question for you, Ran, is finish this sentence.
Mr. Condibits, thank you so much for the 50
Did you
DKK.
know Deep Minutes now has an DK stratum? Smiley face.
I did not know they had a DK stratum, but yes, Deep Miners is the pool that Mr. Yeti and D Miners have created. So if you guys are mining Dynex, go over there and use deepminers.com.
I became wealthy when?
I became wealthy before crypto, ironically. I sold the business in Africa for $150 million. It was a marketing business.
What?
And then I took the proceeds of that and I put it into crypto, and then I multiplied the money because crypto was just so easy to make money in the days when I got into it. But I became really wealthy when I stopped caring about the money and started having fun doing what I'm doing. And I love doing what I'm doing. And I think this is probably a good time to say that you guys have really inspired me. You and your brother really inspired me. I started my channel way after you guys. I really started pushing my channel in 2020 or 2021. That's when I started pushing my channel. And you guys were very big, and you guys were a big inspiration for me. You guys were the biggest. You had the most subscribers. You were, you're always consistent. You're there every single day. Bull market, bear market. You guys were there every single day. Your videos were concise. They were of the right length. And you guys, Ivan on Tech and one or two others really inspired me to build Banter. So I want you to know there's a real mutual respect there between the two channels. I know we've tried to get each other onto each other's channels for years now, and there's different time zones and different things that we have to deal with. But I do want you to know that when I wake up in the morning, it's you guys have usually dropped the video your evening, and so for me it's my morning. It's the first video that I listen to. So it's because between you guys and maybe Cryptos R Us, you guys are the first videos that I listen to. And a big fan of what you guys do. So just keep doing what you're doing.
That means a lot, man. Thank you so much. And again, the respect is mutual. So much respect for your channel. And it makes me feel really good because you're one of the biggest in the game. And to see you boom and to know I'm a little bit of an inspiration, that does make me feel good. Because if one of us succeeds, I think, that gives more of us a chance to succeed. But anyways, Ran, thank you so much for coming on today. Any final thoughts?
Shout out to Mr. Altcoin Daily and Crypto Banter, I guess. I'm not, I don't think I'm subbed to that guy. Let's see real quick. Where is it? Do his channel here? Twitter? Oh, right here. Banter. I don't think I'm subbed to him.
So guys, the market is out.
Oh my word. No. Oh yeah, it's this guy that annoys me. That's why I don't watch him. I didn't realize it was his channel though. Wait, who is this kid? Who is this kid? Does anybody know? Every time I watch something, this guy annoys the shit out of me. Every time. I just don't understand why it's always this other kid, but it's this guy's face. Does anybody know what's going on here? Does anybody know? Every time I watch one of these videos with this guy's friggin' cockmouth, that right there, that open face, I hate that face. I don't know why people do it. It drives me nuts. Anyways, that's that's why I unsubscribed. Actually, I was subscribed to this guy, and I don't know. Some of the stuff he says is it was kind of messed up. But anyways, you guys like him. Congrats. I like that guy that was talking though. I have nothing against him at all. That is Sheldon. He's sharing trading strategies. Yeah, I found him to be really really shilly. I didn't like it. So I just stopped. I just stopped watching him. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. This guy's not for me. Not for me. Anyways, but I've never heard of this roll bit stuff. I kind of want to know what it is about now. Let's go to real quick. I gotta get out of here shortly, but is it RLB? Is it not here? Hold on, let's see. Oh shit. Yeah, it's just Rollbit. RLB. All right, apparently it's not there. I wanted to see if they had a website. Let's go to Google actually. We'll just see. Rollbit. CoinMarketCap, rollbit.com. Let's see. Oh god. What's happening? What's happening? Yeah, I'm human. All right. Let's see. Let it do its thing. I have to keep verifying that I'm a human. Hold on a second. What is this? What's happening? Oh god, I see NFTs. I'm out. I'm out. All right. Oh, I can't even do it anyways. It says due to licensing restrictions, we're unable to whatever. Yeah. Okay. Can't do that. So, whatever. Not for me. This whole, I don't know. NFT bullshit. Yeah. Nope. Sounds like a scam. All right. Anyways, guys, that's it. Tains, I still love you. Nothing personal. I was just saying that was the whole perspective that I would take from the entire node situation. All right, so let's see what else. Do you guys have anything in the chat? Mining channels are hurting. Seems the finance side of crypto is doing okay. Very true. Very true. CCXD sees NFTs and runs for the hills. Dude, I hate NFTs. They're the biggest scam on the planet. Absolute biggest scam on the planet. I like these bored apes that are just like, how does a fucking monkey picture sell for this much money? Like, it makes no sense to me. I just don't. I will never in my life understand it. Never. I don't care. I don't care any valid point you make or try to make. It's never gonna make sense to me. Why you would pay that kind of money? Like, I don't want to pay $10 for a fucking poster I gotta put on my wall. Forget about a goddamn monkey picture that's in my computer that freaking cost me like literally more than my vehicle. Makes no sense. Think of it like baseball cards, bro. Oh my god. Well, that'd be, see, like baseball cards, at least like you got something you can hold, right? And you might find some asshole online to buy it off you. But like, I just feel like, I mean, I guess same thing for NFTs, but like you can't, I mean, if you can't hold it obviously, but you can find some asshole to buy it off you for a ridiculous amount of money. But the odds are probably few and far between, at least my opinion. I'll buy poop on a stick if it makes money. TJ, listen, if you go, how much is a Bored Ape going for? What was it, like 7 ETH or something crazy? It was like a ridiculous amount of ETH. At least you don't own it. Don't own the NFT. Wait, at least you own it. You don't own the NFT. Are you talking about baseball cards? Sorry, Mr. Gamer Kid. I apologize. Here. If people have monkey profile pics or ETH in their name, I simply won't follow them. Said Condiments. Oh my god, it's brutal. The current market is flawed, not the tech itself. Yeah, and you know what? That is a very, very valid point, Mr. Aru. So the NFTs in general, like not the picture side of things, the actual, like if they were gonna put car titles, medical documents, house deeds, things along those lines, like great technology, because things aren't going to get lost. You're not going to, burn up in a house fire, or you don't have to trust like your lawyer or somebody to hold these papers for you. You have a blockchain that will actually, hold all this information for you. So I think the technology is fantastic. It's just being implemented totally wrong. I just don't understand the whole picture thing. It makes no sense to me at all. What about NFT is real artwork? I think it's stupid. I think it's foolish. I don't understand. Like the Mona Lisa, like you're going to take a Mona Lisa or make it an NFT. Why? I don't understand it. Like, I don't fucking get it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why? If you're going to have a real artist selling pictures like that, I don't know. I get it. I get it to a point. But there's also another point where like, okay, I see this. Let's see, right? So let me just hold on. Let me hold on 1 second. Let me see. All right, so let's go to images. All right, so one of these pictures, right? Just this is the way my brain thinks, right? I'm looking at any of these pictures, okay? So like say like this one right here, like, ooh, that's a cool picture. I'm like, wait, I have to buy this off of you? Why do I have to buy this, right? So like buying this, I could just take this, right? Hit this button, screenshot it, and then it pops up right here. And that's like, okay, look at this. Like I know I don't technically own it, but are you gonna fucking sue me if I put this on the background of my computer now that I just screenshotted it? Because now it's here. Now it's here. Like, yeah, I don't understand it. Like, why it kills me. I don't understand it. It just fucking drives me nuts. I don't get it. Let's see. Making an NFT to move money, to hide the money. Tax breaks. Yeah, dude. Tains, I totally agree with that. 100% agree with that. And that makes sense, right? If you're trying to do it to like skirt around things, like I get it. Okay. Like that, whatever. Oop. That just blew up over my face there. Crazy. All right. That just like, it went over like both screens. Insane. Anyways, but like taking a picture like this or just screenshotting it, like that's enough for me. If I really like something and that's what I wanted to do on the background of my computer, I'm not gonna pay you friggin' 6 ETH or 7 ETH or whatever the hell it is to buy this picture of a freaking monkey with a bad shave. I don't understand it. It just makes no sense to me, but whatever. You guys can, hey, listen, you might be for NFTs or not for NFTs. This is what it is. Each his own. It's a good flip not to keep. Yeah, I mean, it can be. It can be. You just got to find somebody stupider than you. that's pretty much what it comes down to. You got to find somebody dumb enough than you to pay more money for it. That's it. Network bits. NFTs are for laundering money. And then a bunch of morons see the transactions and actually believe it's worth that much and actually buy them. Best scam ever. And you know what? That's so true. So when you what was it? It was Trump and what's his wife's name? Melania or whatever the hell her name is. They made their own NFT collection, and what they did was they actually traded it I forget, I read the story somewhere. They like sent it around in between each other. So like you can mint an NFT here and say you had money in this wallet. You could sell it to yourself. So it looks like a transaction and then relist it. Even though it's really not yours, you're just moving your money from this wallet to this wallet in exchange for this NFT to now this wallet. And people think it just went for a whole bunch of money. It makes dude, it is such a scam. It is such a scam. And that's so true. And I'm done talking about this. I'm done talking about NFTs. I just hate it. It makes no sense to me. Trump, huh? Wow. Had no idea they did. Oh, Nismo, yeah. You didn't know they had their own NFT collection? Yeah, Trump has his own NFT collection. A whole bunch of shit. At least in crypto, you can see it coming. In NFTs, you get rugged in 1 minute. Yeah, that's very true. I want an NFT of yeah, no, you don't. Network bids, you're such a creep. Get out of here. You know, if Miss Teen Crypto had an NFT, you'd be taking that one, wouldn't you? Network bits. Trump scamming people. Who knew? Said UK Miners Club. No comment. No comment. All right, let me see if there is anything else you guys said. 0 Watt team said DJ Mines, right? You imagine being able to make money on crypto without having to mine. I mean, I guess trading, right? But whatever. Let's see. No Bitcoin for me, said Nismo Miner. What do you mean? You don't want Bitcoin? No Bitcoin. Crazy. The AI art scene is growing. Those NFT scammers make it hard for people to take art seriously. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand it. I don't get it. It just doesn't make much sense to me. All right. Anyways, guys, I got to get out of here. I have to go pick out some patio blocks. So we have to go to the store and they close at 12. So hopefully you guys have a good day. Enjoy your Saturday. I will see you guys tomorrow. Later tonight. Later tonight for Misfit Mining Saturday Night Live. And I also need to leave you guys with something awesome. Oh, and we got to raid Crypto Mikkel. My bad. Totally forgot. Where in the F is... Oh, there we are. There we are. All right. Going to leave you guys the old Silk Road, and then we're going to raid Mr. Crypto Mikkel. So hopefully you guys have a good day. Enjoy your Saturday. And I'll see you guys real soon. Peace out. Have a good day. End with this.
I could roll back time to that old Silk Road. I wanna hold till I can't no more. I'm gonna add crypto to my portfolio. I wanna hold till I can't no more. I got my crypto coming back soon. I'm back in the black too. Suck here in the bag. Now I'm feeling like a tycoon. Riding on a Lambo. You can live with FOMO. I've been through the dips. When it's low, I was buying more. Now I got my money on the blockchain. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. Can't nobody stop my campaign. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. I'ma buy some Bitcoin, hold it like the big boys. Ride it to the moon on my Lambo or my Rolls Royce. Now I got these altcoins, they don't make the big noise, but they make the big rips. Call me crypto cowboy. Now I got my money on the blockchain. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. Can't nobody stop my campaign. Hodl gang, hodl gang, hodl gang. Yeah, wish I could roll back time to that old Silk Road. I wanna hold till I can't no more. I'm gonna add crypto to my portfolio. I wanna hold till I can't no more. Backyard garage, solar powered area. Spend a lot of money trying to mine that Ethereum. Boy, I got a habit, I'ma bounce right back. And I'm addicted, I become a cryptomaniac. You see, I got no stocks and I got no gold. I'm all in, all I do is I buy crypto. Wish I could roll back time to that old Silk Road. I wanna hodl till I can't no more. Wish I could roll back time to that old Silk Road. I wanna hold till I can't no more. I'm gonna add crypto to my portfolio. I wanna hold till I can't no more.
Have a good day, fellas. Go raid Crypto Mikkel. I'll see you guys soon. Peace, peace.